Hello everyone, welcome to course study on solid mechanics. Today we will discuss about mechanical properties of material. In case of mechanical properties of material, we are dealing with the behavior of the material under the action of external force. Based on that, we are going to discuss about different mechanical properties. The first mechanical property is strength. The strength of material enables that particular material to resist the fracture under the action of load. That is, it is the ability of a structure to resist the load without undue distortion, collapse or rupture. If I consider a load which causes the fracture divided by the area of the test specimen, then it is known as ultimate strength of the material or the tenacity of the material. Now we have the next property, that is elasticity. In elasticity, material regain its original shape and size completely after the deformation when the load causing deformation are removed. The material which exhibit such a property are known as elastic material. Remember that if the body regain its original shape and size completely, then it is said to be perfectly elastic. And if the body does not return back to its original shape and size completely, then it is known as partially elastic material. The property of elasticity is only possible if the deformation caused by the external force is within the certain limit. Such a limit is called as elastic limit. We have example of elasticity: rubber, spring, steel, copper, concrete, etc. etc. Now we have next property, plasticity. Remember that plasticity is the converse of elasticity. That is, a material in plastic state get permanently deformed by the application of external load. It get permanently deformed means it has no tendency to recover its original shape and size when the load causing deformation is removed. Plasticity is important when a substance has to be molded into its component. Remember that we have to use such a property when any substance has to be molded into its component. Now we have next property, ductility. The ductility is nothing but under the action of external tensile force, it is possible to draw out a longitudinal section of the material. In short, it is possible to draw the thin wire of the material. Remember that as the temperature increases, the ductility of the material also increases, and it is a tensile quality of the material. The example of ductile material is gold, platinum, silver, copper, aluminium, etc. We have next property, brittleness. Remember that brittleness, it indicates the lack of ductility, means it is the converse of ductility. In brittleness, material does not have any capacity to undergo large deformation before failure occur. In case of brittle fracture, the material fails without any warning. The example of brittle material is cast iron, high carbon steel, concrete, glass, etc. etc. Brittle property is suitable for resisting compressive load, but it is unsuitable for resisting tensile or impact load. And if the material is having less than 5% elongation, then it is also considered as a brittle material. Next property we have malleability. Remember that malleability is a property of the material which permits that particular material to be extended in all directions without causing any rupture or crack in it. That is, by using such a property, a material can be rolled or beaten up into thin sheet without any cracking. We have malleability is a compressive quality of the material. Means due to the action of compressive force, the material extends in all the possible directions, and due to that it is possible to roll or bottom that particular material without cracking. The example of malleable material is gold, silver, aluminum, copper, tin, etc. Now, next property is strain energy. When any elastic body is loaded under the action of external load, it gets deformed due to that load. At the time of deformation, the energy gets stored in it, and the same energy is released up or given up when such a load causing deformation is removed. That is, in case of strain energy, the energy gets stored within the body due to the action of external load. Based on strain energy, we have another definition, that is resilience. In resilience, the strain energy is stored by the body within the elastic limit when the load loaded externally is called as resilience. That is, in case of resilience, we have to consider the strain energy which is stored within the elastic limit. We have proof resilience. It is the maximum strain energy which a body stores up to the elastic limit is known as proof resilience. In difference with the resilience and the proof resilience, we have, in case of resilience, the strain energy is stored within the elastic limit only, whereas in case of proof resilience, the strain energy is stored up to the elastic limit only. Means it's a maximum strain energy which is stored by the body up to the elastic limit. Proof resilience enables the material to bear a shock. Now we have modulus of resilience. It is the ratio of proof resilience per unit volume of any piece of material. Now we have next property, hardness. Hardness is the resistance of any material to indentation or scratching or cutting or wear by the surface abrasion. If we have to determine the hardness of any material, then the tests such as Brinell hardness, Rockwell hardness are generally performed to measure the hardness of that particular material. We have next property, fatigue. Fatigue is defined as the deterioration of the material when it is subjected to repeated cycle of stress and strain, and that result in progressive cracking which produces the fracture in the material. Or another definition of the fatigue is, it is the phenomenon of a material failing under very little amount of stress due to the repeated cycle of the loading. The concept of fatigue is important in case of component which is subjected to cyclic or reversal loading. For example, machine foundation or the member which are subjected to earthquake load. In case of machine foundation and the earthquake load, the load is cyclic or reversal one. Now we have reversal loading. In case of reversal loading, the member is subjected to repeated tensile and compressive stresses. Means there is a continuous, that particular material is continuously subjected to tensile and compressive stresses. In case of reversal loading, members subjected to repeated stresses fail at stresses which are lower than the ultimate stress. Now next property is toughness. Remember that toughness is a property of the material which enable it to absorb large amount of energy by undergoing large plastic deformation, particularly due to shock loading. The toughness of a material is measured by using Charpy test or ISO test. It is very important property where impact load are to be considered. For example, brass, mild steel, manganese, wrought iron, those are the material for which we have to test the toughness of those material. Next property is stiffness. Stiffness is related to deformation of the member. It is defined as mathematically as the force per unit moment required to cause unit deformation in the member. It is defined as the force or moment which are required to cause the unit deformation of the member is nothing but the stiffness. And the last property is creep. Creep is a property by which a material undergoes deformation at a constant stress over a period of the time. The stress remaining constant, it is found that deformation increases over a period of time due to the creep. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the concept of simple stress and strain. We will stop here. Thank you.